Greetings and welcome to Pop Culture Beasts Halloween Horror Picks, the show where I recommend off the beaten path horror movies for your Halloween movie night. I'm your host, Ryan Stockstad. This season, we're devoting all Monday episodes to second part horror sequels. And today, we're going to talk about a classic Universal monster movie that features one of cinema's greatest female villains.
Her pulse is weak, Dr. Goth, growing weaker. All your skill can't help her now. She's under a spell that can be broken only by me, or death. I am Dracula's daughter.
Dracula's Daughter, 1936, starring Gloria Holden, Otto Kruger, Marguerite Churchill, Edward Van Sloan, Irving Pichel, and Nan Gray. Universal originally wanted James Whale to direct. He'd just delivered a hit with The Bride of Frankenstein, and the studio hoped that he'd be able to do the same with Dracula's sequel. But Whale was reluctant to make two back-to-back horror movies, and when he proved unable or unwilling to deliver, the studio turned to Lambert Hillyer, who had just made The Invisible Ray with Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi.
The castle! Rise, Dracula!
He's come back!
Interestingly, Gloria Holden was also reluctant to make the movie. She'd seen how Bela Lugosi had become typecast by Dracula, and she was afraid that Dracula's daughter would do the same to her. But this animosity toward the part may have actually helped her performance. As a number of film historians have noted, she infuses the role with a sort of self-loathing intensity that works really well for the picture.
When you left me last night, I determined to put myself to a test, as you suggested. I failed. It came over me again, that overpowering command. Wordless, insistent. And I had to obey.
What was it?
I can't tell you, it's too ghastly.
Here to help us explore the movie further is writer, filmmaker, and horror fan, Matt Dinan. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Always fun to come on and talk about vampires and horror movies, and yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, what can you tell us about Dracula's Daughter?
Much like Halloween 2, Dracula's Daughter picks up the moment the first film ended. We open in a London crypt where Professor Van Helsing has just staked Count Dracula through the heart.
What was in there? A gentleman with a stake driven right through his heart. Oh. Do you know anything about this?
Yes, I did it.
Who is he in there?
His name was Count Dracula.
How long's he been dead?
About 500 years.
Caught red-handed by a couple of jag-off Keystone Cop-type cops, Van Helsing is immediately apprehended and drug off to Scotland Yard, where he's to be formally charged with murder.
You have admitted to killing a man in a very horrible manner by driving a stake through his heart. That is the only way a vampire can be destroyed. And as head of Scotland Yard, I must warn you that there are only two courses which can be taken. Either formally charge you with murder and send you to the gallows, or to have you committed to an institution for the criminally insane.
Soon, a mysterious woman arrives at the jail, demanding to see Count Dracula's body.
Sorry, Mum, you can't go in there. It's against orders from Scotland Yard.
They'd never know if you didn't tell them.
Orders is orders.
What can I do to persuade you? Can I offer you money?
I'd rather you wouldn't, Mum.
Or something more precious than money? Look. You've never seen a jewel as beautiful as this, nor as compelling.
She turns out to be Dracula's undead daughter, the Countess Maria Zaleska. With help from her creepy manservant, she steals Dracula's body and destroys it in a ritualistic fire which she thinks will free her from the vampire's curse.
In the name of the All-Holiest, and through this cross, be the evil spirit cast out until the end of time.
Meanwhile, Van Helsing calls his old student and friend Jeffrey Garth, a psychiatrist whom he trusts to defend him at his upcoming murder trial.
Yeah? What do you want?
You? Come on, get in. You're going back to London.
No. I have an appointment with several grouse.
You have an appointment with Scotland Yard.
What for? I haven't killed anybody.
No, but a friend of yours has. A man named Van Helsing.
I love the relationship between Dr. Garth and his Baroness secretary, Janet. Their flirtatious bickering makes for wonderful comic relief.
Please come right away. This is the zoo speaking.
The what? The zoo?
Yeah, one of our elephants is seeing pink men.
All right, now listen to me, Janet. This has gone far enough. Well, there's nothing funny about it. I'm in the midst of a very serious... Hello?
Unfortunately, the Countess also takes an interest in the good doctor, believing that psychiatry may be able to cure her where black magic has failed.
Life against death. The strength of a human mind against the powers of darkness.
I'll help you.
You must. Your strength against his.
Which brings us to one of the film's main themes. Jealousy. Janet is jealous of the Countess, the manservant is jealous of the doctor. All of this boils over in the third act when Countess Zaleska kidnaps Janet and flees to Transylvania in a desperate attempt to force the doctor into joining her as a vampire.
We might talk with Dr. Garth. He's interested in both of us.
I'm quite aware of his interest in you, Countess, as a psychiatrist.
Send her. Take her to the car. This way.
Dracula's Daughter is especially notable for its subversive depiction of homosexuality, specifically in Countess Zaleska's physical lust for beautiful young women.
Why are you looking at me that way? Won't I do?
Yes, you'll do very well indeed. Do you like jewels, Lily? This is very old and very beautiful. I will show it to you.
The concept of the lesbian vampire had been a part of mythology since Le Fanu wrote Carmilla, but this was the first time the subject was tackled cinematically. The social conventions of the time prevented the filmmakers from depicting a lesbian character as anything less than a fearful aberration. But Countess Zaleska is now regarded by many as an early gay icon. Indeed, the simple act of casting the powerful lead villain as a woman was in itself an exercise in subverting gender stereotypes.
Sander, look at me. What do you see in my eyes?
Death.
Also worth noting is the gorgeous art direction by Albert S. D'Agostino. He worked on all of Val Lewton's horror pictures back in the day, including Cat People, I Walked with the Zombie, and The Body Snatcher, as well as many others like Werewolf of London, Hitchcock's Notorious, and even the original The Thing from Another World.
Hypnosis, huh?
Something older and more powerful.
Whatever it is, I'll bring her out of it.
Like the other one who died?
Dracula's Daughter is a great movie, and in many ways an improvement over the first film in the series. If you're looking for a classic horror movie this Halloween that also features a strong female lead, I recommend Dracula's Daughter.
As far as we dare go until morning.
What?
The vampire. She walks tonight with her unhallowed father.
Are you quite sure?
Yeah.
In May of 2017, Universal released Dracula, the Complete Legacy Collection, featuring all 6 films from the original legacy, including Dracula, Dracula's Daughter, Son of Dracula, House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, and Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, as well as the 1931 Spanish version of Dracula. This was also released on DVD, so whatever format you prefer, this is the collection I recommend.
Yes, sir. Will you take your barley water now, sir?
Barley water, get me my heavy topcoat and revolver. I'm going out after vampires.
Vampires?
Vampires! Ha, ha, ha!
Whenever we have a guest on the show, we like to invite them to talk about one of their favorite horror movies. So, Matt, what is your Halloween horror pick this year?
Well, as we've been discussing, the idea of replacing your dead vampire antagonist with his female relative is nothing new. With that in mind, I would like to choose as my Halloween horror pick the little seen and oft-maligned Fright Night 2. Now, this is 1989's Fright Night 2, not 2011's sequel to the remake of the David Tennant film with that chick from Dexter. No, fuck that noise, Fright Night 2. A few years after the first film, Charlie Brewster is in college now with a new girlfriend and a new outlook on life. His shrink has convinced him that Jerry Dandridge from the first film was a serial killer and not a vampire, and that vampires in general are not real. Once the mysterious Regine shows up, we burn through a lot of the same story beats from the first film, except now with Charlie playing the half-vampire, damsel in distress type character that Married with Children's Amanda Bierce did in the first film.
Charlie. Peter, it's happening again.
In a post-Lost Boys world, it was a lot cooler to have a monster gang than just a Renfield or a manservant. So Regine shows up flanked by a trio of splatter fodder whose side story hijinks help to pad out the runtime. Her gang includes Louis, who might be a werewolf, played by John Grise, who is also the werewolf from the Monster Squad. Belle, a glammed up, LeMay-wearing, big-haired, androgynous vampire on roller skates. And Bosworth, a Schwarzenegger-esque insect-eating chauffeur. Easily the greatest thing about the film is Julie Carmen playing Regine. So many female vampire roles in the past were cleavage and fangs and little else, but not Regine. She's sexy as hell, but also powerful and confident. Fright Night 2 is an extremely 80s, overly stylish but hilarious vampire horror movie that does feature, of course, one of the great cinematic female vampires. If you want to see more great cinematic female vampires, check out maybe The Hunger, Daughters of Darkness, Byzantium, Lust for a Vampire, Twins of Evil, The Vampire Lovers, or even Innocent Blood, Vamp, or Once Bitten.
Roddy McDowell.
Hurts.
William Ragsdale.
Do you mind if I borrow these?
If you thought one was fun, wait till you do two. Fright Night 2. Apparently the suckers are back.
Thanks for watching Pop Culture Beast's Halloween Horror Picks, and a special thanks to our guest Matt Dinan. I'm your host Ryan Stockstad. This season, we're devoting all Monday episodes to Part 2 horror sequels. So be sure to like us on Facebook and subscribe right here for new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right up through Halloween. Thanks again for watching. Watch horror movies. I'll see you next time.